Hello, everybody. This is Anna Karenina by Leo Tolstoy, Part 3, Chapter 2. Early in June, Agafya Mikhailovna, the old nurse and economka, in going down cellar with a pot of pickled mushrooms, slipped on the staircase and dislocated her wrist. The district doctor, a loquacious young medical student who had just taken his degree, came and examined the arm, declared that it was not out of joint, and applied compresses. And during dinner, proud of finding himself in the society of the distinguished Kosnuishev, he began to relate all the petty gossip of the neighborhood, and in order that he might have occasion to introduce his enlightened ideas, he began to complain of the bad stage of things in general. Sergei Ivanovitch listened attentively. Animated by the presence of a new hearer, he talked, and made keen and shrewd observations which were received by the young physician with respectful appreciation. After his departure, Kosnuishev was left in that rather overexcited frame of mind which, as his brother knew, was liable in the case to follow a lively and brilliant conversation. Immediately after, he took a fish-line and went to the river. He was very fond of fishing. He seemed to take a little pride in showing that he could amuse himself with such a puerile amusement. Constantin was intending to make a tour of inspection across the fields, and he offered to take his brother in his gig as far as the river. It was the time of the year when, the summer having sufficiently gone, the amount of the crops can be judged, and the thoughts of the coming summer begin to take root. The ears of corn, now full and still green, swing lightly in the breeze. The oats peep irregularly from the late-sown fields. The wheat's already up and hides the soil. The odor of the manure, heaped in little hillocks over the field, mingles with the perfume of the herbs, which, scattered with little bunches of wild sorrel, stretch out like a sea. This period of the summer is the lull before the harvest, that great event which the muzhik expects each year with eagerness. The crops promised to be superb. The long, bright days were followed by short nights when the dew lay heavy on the grass. To reach the fields it was necessary to cross the woodland. Sergei Ivanovitch liked this dense forest. He pointed out to his brother as they rode along an old linden almost in flower. But Constantin, who did not himself care to speak about the beauties of nature, did not care to have others speak of them. Words, he thought, spoiled the beauty of the thing that they saw. He assented to what his brother said, but allowed his mind to concern himself with other things. After they left the wood, his attention was drawn to a fallow field, where some places were growing yellow, where in others the crop was being gathered and garnered. The telyagas were thronging up toward the field. Levin counted them and was satisfied with the work which was going on. His thoughts were diverted by the sight of the fields to the serious question of fertilizers, which he always had particularly at heart. He stopped his horse when they reached the meadow. The high, thick grass was still damp with dew. Sergei Ivanovitch begged his brother, in order that he might not wet his feet, to drive him as far as a clump of laburnums near which perch were to be caught. Though he disliked to trample down the grass, he drove over through the field. The tall grass clung round the horse's legs, and the seed was dusted on the wheels of the little gig. Sergei sat down under the laburnums and cast his line. Though he caught nothing, he was undisturbed in spirits, and the time that his brother was away conversing with Fomitch and the other workmen did not seem irksome to him. When his brother returned, anxious to get back to the house to give some orders, Sergei was sitting calmly, looking at the water and the sky and the fields. "These fields," he said, "are heavenly. They always remind me of an enigma. Do you know?" the grass says to the river. "I don't know any such riddle," interrupted Constantin in a melancholy tone.